Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Willis, and before we get started with today's very unusual episode, I want to thank our friends over at Streetside Brewery. That is right. Our dear friends who have been with us forever now are still the best place to watch FC Cincinnati games, the best place to grab a pint, the best place to just relax as summer starts to slowly come to an end. It is very silly saying that when it was 90 degrees out the other day, but still, Streetside Brewery, east side of Cincinnati, Columbia Tusculum neighborhood. You cannot find a better spot than that pub partner. That do anything for you? They have a wide variety of amazing beers, delicious food available for sale. They are welcoming to all sorts of folks, a very open and inviting space and a very cool space. I love the patio out there. It is a good time. We love our friends over at Streetside, and I highly, highly, highly recommend checking them out if you haven't already. So thank you to Streetside for sponsoring this and so many other episodes of the Postcast. And on today's episode, well, I already said it. It's a very unusual episode, and I got to be honest. This might be a little different than what we normally hear. We were able to MC an event before the Charlotte match for the 10-year anniversary of FC Cincinnati. An amazing opportunity, and we are incredibly thankful to the folks at the Pride Supporters Group as well as FC Cincinnati who helped make this happen. And with that, we tried to record our conversations. I say tried because the audio setup system was not cooperating on the night. It is very disheartening to go from 2 shows in a row where people complimented how well it sounded to what happened on Northern Row. So thankfully, what ended up being recorded as the podcast, and it sounds okay. All right. So there's definitely something listenable here. So this is broken up into 4 parts. Part 1, we will actually pick up sort of mid-conversation with Jeff Berding, co-CEO and club president of FC Cincinnati from day one. We then were able to talk to a number of the supporters group leaders of the Pride, current and former members of the leadership group, including Mark Szwejkowski, Chris White, Max Ellerbe, which was an awesome, awesome conversation. And then we were joined by the former players. In the first batch, we're joined by Jimmy McLaughlin, Andrew Wiedeman, and Eric Stevenson, as well as former VP of Tickets, Jeff Smith. And then in the final part, we are joined by Richie Ryan, Garrett Halfhill, Kendall Waston, and Dekel Keinan. It is a really, really, really fun conversation. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. This was recorded before the match, before the alumni match, so we'll discuss that later in the week. But in the meantime, enjoy just some further reflections on the 10-year anniversary.
Why don't we do it? And the enthusiasm was there, and I was convinced that if we were a team that did things the right way, a pro team that was about winning and representing our city with pride, if we were about being inclusive where everyone belonged and everyone was welcome, and if we were a pro club that was about making the city better, not just taking from the city.
Yes.
If we did those 3 things consistently well, I thought the sky was the limit. I thought this city was ready for something different.
What do you think that it says about Cincinnati that this city embraced this wholeheartedly from year one?
You know, I grew up on the west side, and I grew up on the Big Red Machine. And, you know, I felt that this was the best city to grow up in, and my proof was we had the best baseball team. You know, and I say this, you know, the Reds and Bengals, who I love dearly, they haven't done enough winning, and they haven't done enough inclusive, and they haven't done enough giving back and making the community better on a consistent basis. And I just really believe that from my boyhood that this city supports teams that do those things. And I just was convinced, and we had done the data, there were enough soccer players and former soccer players and Nielsen ratings for watching the Premier League and watching the U.S. men and U.S. women. Like, it was clear there was an appetite for soccer, just no one had really delivered it at the right scale. And I felt like with my experience and bringing people like Kate Solomon and Dan McNally and Jeff Smith and Tommy G and others, and then, of course, partnering with Carl Lindner was the biggest gift of all. Like, you know, there was no question that this is a city that had what it took to make FC Cincinnati successful.
Jeff, that is exactly what I was looking for. I was that data that you were looking at before, where, and I have to assume many other people were here, soccer fans that were desperate to put their soccer fandom into something. And there were certainly teams that had popped up here and there, right? Like, I have fond memories of the Silverbacks, and we can list them all off. And they were in the introductory video of FC Cincinnati. But I get to like the Bengals and Reds point as well. What has been the best part of this is that this team has been trying to win every step along the way. It has not been a team that has asked fans to accept rebuilding decades or rebuilding multiple seasons. That even when the team wasn't doing great, there were a million things you could point to that the team was trying to get better, trying to do better. How do you build a sports franchise around that model when it does seem like in every sport there are certainly teams, if not just straight up opportunities, to just sit back and let the fandom sort of jump on whatever bandwagon exists?
I would say that for Carl Lindner and I, we love Cincinnati and we want to represent Cincinnati with pride. And, you know, losing isn't any fun. And our brand, and I believe this wholeheartedly, and I've heard this before, people sharing this with me, you know, New York and Miami and LA, they're always going to be, you know, world-class cities here in the U.S. But for a city the size of Cincinnati, we have lots of great things here in this city, all of which we know. But to the outside world, they may not know a lot about Cincinnati, except for our sports teams lose too much. Because on the crawler, it always shows that, right? And we feel a responsibility to our fans and to the city to make the brand of Cincinnati championship, to make it about winning, because then that attracts people to maybe think differently about Cincinnati. We feel that's an obligation that we have. We don't just sit back and, you know, oh, it's just about the dollars. We never sit here and think we got it all figured out. That, you know, some people would rather be convinced they're right and keep losing. I'd rather admit we were wrong and fix it to keep winning. And we feel that represent, you know, we talked about we're going to promote Cincinnati to the world and bring the world to Cincinnati. We said that at the very first event at Nippert. And we take that responsibility greatly.
When was the moment that you realized this was going to work?
I wrote the marketing plan based on Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point. And the tipping point is all about how things become cultural phenomenons. And you can't start so broadly as a startup. So you have to start with little groups. And so we started with the soccer fans in this region, people who were going to the bars. And we went to the youth soccer families. Some of you know I'd been the president of my kids' youth club. I knew all the presidents, so we were going to go there. And then the business community that was recruiting young talent that would like the idea of having a third major league team in a sport that young professionals might gravitate towards. So that is where we started. At the Crystal Palace game, we tipped. At the Crystal Palace game, there was like, there's no turning back. We are a cultural phenomenon in this city, and there's no turning back. At this point, now it's just we keep growing. The 100%, that was the day.
That tracks. That was the moment, I think, for the city at large, that it recognized that FC Cincinnati was here to stay. I guess the question was, where was it going to stay? My question to you is, how much do you miss the expansion drama, the expansion race of Major League Soccer? Come on, you miss it a little bit.
So I think folks know this. When we announced the creation of FC Cincinnati on August the 12th of 2015, I got an angry phone call from Jake Edwards at the USL because I said our goal is to be Cincinnati's third major league team. And I gave this quip that wasn't very diplomatic. I said I didn't leave the National Football League to start to run a minor league soccer team. and they didn't like that. But my point was, we knew that we were, and I say this respectfully, we were using the USL as a proof of concept, that we were building something to show that it worked before we asked people to invest, led by Carl, hundreds of millions of dollars. But we knew our plan was to get there so quickly because we were convinced that we were onto something here in Cincinnati before Nashville, before Charlotte, before Miami, before San Diego, other cities that they may want more than Cincinnati, St. Louis. But we had figured it out and we were going to make them take us. But the point was we had to do it quickly because at a certain point we're drawing, because of all of you, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. At some point, some of those cities are going to go, well, how are they doing that in Cincinnati? Why can't we do that here? So the 3-year run-up was the timeline. And yeah, then of course we had the 4-month window to figure out how to build our stadium in the West End. And I just want to say, some people thought when I said we had an April 30 deadline, this would have been in 2018, people thought I was just using that for leverage. And when in fact the commissioner said, I'll give you 4 months to figure it out. So yeah, because Sacramento was there, and there was always a thought that, Sacramento always thought they were next, and we sort of usurped them. So yeah, at some point we were in a hurry to get the West End figured out. But, I went door to door. I had people from the West End join me going door to door in the West End, talking, listening. All those hearings we went to where, I was called all kinds of ugly names, but, my former politician self has thick skin, so that was okay. But we entered into a community benefits agreement that was the right thing to do. We've exceeded all of it. And at the end of the day, John Cranley is the mayor, and there were 5 council members, Greg Landsman, our congressperson, they were there. Yeah. And we figured it out. But I don't miss having to go. I don't want to have to go back to that.
Before you jump in, Grayson, I just got to say, I went to one meeting you did at with Cincinnati Public. I've never, to this day, in all my life, I have never seen somebody be so insulted by the general public in like an open forum like that before. I don't know how you did it, man.
Well, let me tell you. Number one, you always think of what's the end, and the end was building this brilliant stadium. And if the means to an end was to sit there and be insulted, it was fine. The other part of me, a mentor told me once, the lion doesn't care what the gazelle thinks. The lion eats the gazelles. Hey. And at some point, those people at the school board hearing, they were the gazelles.
So Jeff, you mentioned that one of the things you wanted to do with the team was to give back to the city. And you mentioned the community benefits agreement, and you said that we've exceeded the community benefits agreement. For people who don't know, because I don't think it's talked about a lot, I don't think people appreciate what the team has done. Can you give some examples of ways that you've gone above and beyond there?
Yes. Just an example. When you come into our stadium, I've had people from out of town say, boy, your game day staff are so friendly. I said, well, most of them are from the West End, and they're proud to welcome you into their neighborhood. So we've employed an awful lot of people. We give out $100,000 a year in grants to different West End organizations to help the people in the West End. We have a great mentorship program, intern program with Taft High School. We do Adopt a School adopt a class with Hayes Porter. Some of you may remember Kevin Danke bought all the bikes for the kids who made the A honor roll. We started the West End Pride. So, you sort of take it for granted when you live in some city neighborhoods. You play, say, soccer. I played for St. Catherine's. My kids played for St. Mary's. They had never had, say, soccer before in the West End. So we started West End Pride. There's now several hundred. It's the biggest sports program in the West End, bigger than the Little Senators football, bigger than the West End Reds baseball. The first kids from the very first year of the West End Pride are now assistant coaches for the West End Pride, helping to coach the littles. So,
That's incredible. It has been incredible seeing the former players that have been kept around the team, around the club in different capacities.
So our former players, and I'm so excited that a bunch of them are going to be here in a few minutes. And we're going to have the alumni game tonight. But, I tell our players, particularly the USL players, you built this club. When you walk into the stadium, I want you to look around and go, I helped build this. Because if they were not so brilliant, they did everything perfectly. The way they embraced the fans, the way they signed autographs for 30 minutes, an hour after matches for every kid who wanted an autograph. And they did that to embrace what we were trying to build, rise together. And it was the love affair that all of you, that this city had with the players that got us to where we are today. And so I felt it was important. I will always will. You take care of some of those players that helped you get to where you are. They are part of your family, and a part of our values is to be family friendly. So we try to give opportunities, whether it's Jimmy McLaughlin, Corbin Bone, Omar Cummings, Manu Ledesma, Richie Ryan now coaching in the academy. A couple other players are doing some things. Justin Hoyt is a coach in the academy. It's one of the reasons we wanted a player like Nick Haglin. We wanted someone in the locker room who bleeds Cincinnati, because we felt that was an important value that we wanted to have represented in the locker room.
Do you want to take 30 seconds to dunk on the haters that criticized the Nick Haglin acquisition in the first year of MLS?
I really appreciate. I've never been asked that question before, and I'm just going to say, and I say this respectfully, not everyone on the outside knows what we are valuing on the inside, what we're looking to add. A certain player may have less of this, but they have a lot of that, and we really value that. And we can live without enough of this. In year one, Nick had won MLS Cup. He was a winner everywhere he'd gone. And he loved this city, and he was young, and he was athletic. And at the end of the day, we wanted Nick Haglin to be a part of this team for a long time. And we felt like he had a lot to give as a player and helping to represent in this club to the city and beyond. And people just didn't appreciate that. But I will say, so we traded the top allocation spot, but we didn't have a lot of money to go pay what that player would be, because we had not opened the stadium. We were spending hundreds of millions of dollars on the stadium. So to me, we weren't giving up a lot. Now you could say that we didn't get enough back for that. Okay, that's maybe true. But at the end of the day, we wanted Nick Haglin. And they used the allocation spot for a player who was good for them for like 2 years. And he's a journeyman with a lot lower grade right now than Nick Haglin. So, I'll take Nick Haglin over that guy.
It was an inspired choice. Well done. Well done. This is a question that comes up often in fan groups and fan communities, is the idea of building a statue of a player or in some way sort of physically commemorating moments or players or things like that. The Reds have done this very well. The Bengals have only just started that. I'm curious if there is, I don't need to know what it is, but is there a plan of subtype in the future to come up with some sort of physical honoring of these moments and these players?
Yes, the question, will we have a museum or statues or a ring of honor? And the answer is in the mixed-use development, that'll be just to the north of the stadium. We envision having some sort of museum that celebrates our history, all of us.
Amazing.
And what we did, and the opportunity to recognize players will be there in the museum. Now, you notice we now have our supporter shield recognition just under the broadcast booth inside the stadium, and we envision a lot more of those trophies. Hey! But we would also have the opportunity to acknowledge, recognize some of our greatest of the greats. And my only point would be, I do like it how fans have a large voice in recognizing, deciding which players should be recognized. So, we're only 10 years old, so it's still, in my mind, a little bit early before we start doing that, but you have that to look forward to.
I like it. I love that answer.
Jeff, what does success look like over the next 10 years of FC Cincinnati in your mind?
A lot of MLS Cups. And obviously what we're doing on the north end of the stadium, the mixed-use development, is going to really improve the fan experience 365 days a year. We're excited to have unanimous support of the West End Community Council for the vision of what we're building, and we're going to continue to grow. The other thing I would say is in most leagues around the world, there are strong local clubs, and then there are some global clubs. And at the end of the day, I want to be Liverpool. No disrespect. I don't want to be Everton. I want to be a global brand. I said no disrespect, but they're in the same city, and one is extraordinarily well known around the world, and one is the fighting, blue of Everton. I just want to be a global brand. We are in a global sport, and I want people around the world, when they think of Major League Soccer, to say FC Cincinnati is my team.
So we're here to celebrate kind of the history of the club, the last 10 years. And I think one of the fun things when you think about history is like the what ifs. How could things have gone if this had happened, if that had happened? There have been a lot of different things that have been rumored around the club that didn't come true. Recently there were the links to Thomas Muller. There have been other things like that over the years. Is there a particular what if that you still think about, that you think may have been really interesting or fun for you?
Yeah, sure I do. I have a lot of what ifs. What if we don't blow a 2-0 lead against Red Bull when 2017 Open Cup, when their guy who made more than our entire roster decided, Bradley Wright Phillips, he didn't want to lose that night and just sort of took over. You could go to a couple years ago where we were up 2-0 against Miami in the semifinals of the Open Cup again. And a bunch of our guys were tired and came out, and we were trying to close out the game. And Messi, who was shut down all night, made two plays. But they led to 2 goals, and we lost in penalty kicks. Obviously, I wish that Matt Miazga had been on the field in the Eastern Conference semifinal, because there's no way in hell we're blowing a 2-0 lead with Matt Miazga, the Defensive Player of the Year.
Same.
So those would certainly be 3 what-if moments. We made a run at Thomas Muller. At the end of the day, he didn't want to come here, and I'll just offer, I don't look back. When players say they don't want to come here, my opinion is you move on, and if you have a chance to beat them, then you just beat them.
Jeff, very recently, largely FC Cincinnati ownership was involved in a push into the NWSL. A lot of people have asked, is that a women's team still in the cards in the future?
Yes, we would like to bring women's professional football here to Cincinnati. So certainly something we continue to work on.
You've been so grateful with your time here. We really appreciate you coming out here, stopping by, saying hi, struggling through the audio issues in this old building. We have one question we asked. We've had players on. We've had Yu Kubo on. We've had Pavel Buka on. We've had Kai Kamara on. We always want to know, what is your go-to order at Chipotle?
Chipotle order: burrito bowl,
Good.
white rice,
Good.
peppers and onions, black beans, chicken, medium hot salsa,
Yeah.
cheese and lettuce. I don't do the sour cream or the guac.
Whoa. Okay.
Chips and guac.
Oh,
Chips and guac.
Brilliant. Jeff, no, I'll echo the Chiefs comments here. You've been incredible. I have one question that I was asked to ask you. A buddy of mine and I, we've had season tickets forever. We lost them at some point. I've been on the waiting list for 2 years. Jeff, what can I do about this?
And Kevin, you know people. You know people.
I know. I just thought this would be a really good time to bring it up.
Yeah.
No, Jeff, thank you so much. Everybody give it up for Jeff Berding.
One brief note. Thank you all so much. I cannot sufficiently express my gratitude for what we've built here and how you've made FC Cincinnati such a big part of your lives. Today, after this incredibly important match with Charlotte, we're going to have all the alumni players. You know that. I've promised them that the Bailey is going to show them how much they are loved, because I promised all the alumni players that any alum who did not get a chance to play at TQL, we invited back, with the idea being that I wanted them to have an opportunity to dress, put the boots on, and play a match inside the stadium in front of our fans. And that we are delivering that promise today. So I just want to say in advance, thank you all for sticking around for the alumni match and being super loud and letting these guys know how much we appreciate everything they did to get us to this point today. So thank you all very much. Thank you.
Chief, I was thinking about this as we were getting ready for this show. It has been 10 years for FC Cincinnati, which is wild.
It has.
But for the Post as an entity, we started in January of 2020, which makes that about 6 full calendar years of doing this.
Are we going to do this debate where we try to figure out like what year is the anniversary year of something?
So it's our 11th anniversary is how this works.
But our 10th anniversary. 5 years of the Post, huh? 5 wasted years of my life talking into a void.
I would have my novel done by now.
Right. It is funny, Kevin. 10 years with this team. Do you feel as old as I do hearing that?
Yeah. This is still like the new thing to me. And I'm realizing that there are children who are 10 years old now that this is just a known thing. They just know this. This is a part of their life.
Yeah, no, my nephew is here. He's in the back. Shout out Henry.
Woo.
He is going to live his life never knowing that this didn't exist. And that blows my mind. That like absolutely blows my mind. That like his earliest memories will be coming down to the brewery here, running around, riding on dad's shoulders to the march and going into the Bailey. That is, I feel so profoundly old.
It is very funny sort of living through the moment of like, I'm definitely talking to the old timers who remember the Bengals showing up, that remember the Stingers being a thing. And
that's us now.
That's us now.
That's us now. We're the old timers that are in the Bailey saying, you know what, if you didn't really know about this team at Nippert Stadium, you missed an era right here. Like, we're going to be having players come up here today for this 10th anniversary celebration where you're going to tell all these young folks, like, man, when I was your age, I was watching Jimmy McLaughlin glide through defenses like the Messi of Pennsylvania that he is.
Man.
Before Kevin Denke was flashing his abs live on Twitter, I was watching Andrew Wiedeman clout chase by taking his shirt off after being onside in the Open Cup. You youngins don't fully understand. I said he was onside, Todd. Mind your business.
Speaking of that history, I brought up the Stingers. I don't know if people know this about Northern Row, but if you look above your head in this main area, you'll see these nice, beautiful glass lamps. If I remember correctly, and Todd, yell at me if I'm wrong, these lamps are from the Cincinnati Gardens that were recycled and brought in here. Yes, I am correct, says a man in a Northern Row shirt. So that feels correct. So these are from the Cincinnati Gardens that have been recycled. So a small part of that Cincinnati history, that legacy, is here in the building with us. And I will go ahead and blame for the audio issues.
Yeah. I mean, it's all pre-prohibition. What are you going to do about it? So, where were you when FC Cincinnati was announced 10 years ago, Kevin?
I remember exactly where I was. I think of this memory in two ways. One,
I was 11 years ago when FC Cincinnati was announced. 10 years ago when they started playing. Let's start first. Start first. When they were announced, hi Todd. When they were announced and when they started, where were you?
So when they were announced, I remember reading the Wrong Side of the Pond blog about the leaked trademark information and branding info and starting to get excited. And I was working at the Growler House with famed cameraman of the Post, Andrew Printovic.
Shout out.
And we made a pact right then and there. Two things. One, we would both get season tickets.
How'd that turn out for you?
It went great for a little bit.
You were just begging Jeff Berding for season tickets like 5 minutes ago.
We stopped having season tickets for a very good reason. But then two, we made a pact right then and there that we would get matching tattoos when this FC Cincinnati team won MLS Cup. And to be clear, they were not in Major League Soccer.
Grayson, where were you?
Just start talking.
I was in microphone school.
You too.
I think I first heard about the team from the Deadspin article, where they talked about the first marketing campaign with the
with the Chalkman.
Yeah.
Chalkman. Shout out Chalkman.
Chalk. Actually,
that was Andrew Wiedeman.
If Chalkman, if anybody knows who Chalkman is, we want to talk to Chalkman.
We do.
Just reach out. We want to talk to Chalkman.
It'll be all love, too. It'll be nothing but softball questions.
Yeah. No, it's hilarious.
Yeah, Chalkman. Like, if you had to rate a scale of 1 to 10, getting hit with chalk in the face, what was that like? Is that like a 7, 5? How does it compare to other things you've been hit in the face with in life?
Do different colors hurt less?
Yeah. So,
Grayson, were you at the first game?
I was not at the first game. I was at the second game.
Bad fan. Bad fan.
So
yeah,
a poser.
Yeah. Well, let's do it.
Yep.
So, in honor of some of the first FC Cincinnati matches, first FC Cincinnati early years, we're going to welcome up to the stage here some OGs from the Pride Cincy. Make yourself at home here. I'm going to introduce them right here. To my right, you listen to him on your Spotify account. You hear him in the intro to the Post Cincy every Monday and Thursday. From Jim Trace and the Makers, one of the original members of the Pride Cincinnati, Mark Szwejkowski.
Love that guy.
Another OG from the Pride Cincy. He was the original vice president of the Pride, one of the founders of the Pride, served as president of the Pride. I have my man, Chris White. And sitting next to him is a man that truly needs no introduction. He bangs things for a living. Max Ellerbe, Das Hart.
Chris, quit pointing the microphone at the sound. I don't know what's going on. Anyway. Mark, how you doing today, man? Today?
Check. Ooh, sounds good. Oh, maybe, yeah. How am I doing? I'm biblically hungover. Had a rough night last night, but I couldn't pass up an opportunity to come celebrate 10 years with all you wonderful people. So we're playing hurt today, and that's fine. You know, we do what you got to do, but no, I'm stoked to be here, for real.
This is your flu game. He's
lying.
He's been drunk since Shedeur Sanders' debut, thinking that they finally have a quarterback in Cleveland.
Shedeur's the answer. I'm all in. I'm all aboard, baby. It's prime time, baby.
Somebody's got to believe in him. Might as well be you. And Chris, how excited are you to be here celebrating 10 years and also not really have any responsibilities for what's happening today?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part. I mean, I first tricked you into taking this over from me, Chief. And then we got Zach on it. He's doing a great job.
Really the best day you spend as a supporters group president is the day you leave office.
Oh, yeah.
The day when you pass the responsibility off and say, well, your problem now, son.
I joined both of you in feeling ancient. I don't know.
Right? Like, if I didn't already know that I was getting old by like the gray hair and the weird noises when I wake up in the morning, 10 years of this is,
as I've said,
perspective.
As I've said many times over the years, I try and have some introspection, and I look at you and say, hey, when we first had that meeting at Molly Malone's, early 2016, did you ever think we would be here doing this?
Listening to feedback out of a microphone from an ancient sound system? No, I didn't see this coming. This is wild. Max?
Yeah, Chief.
How you been?
I don't even know, man.
If you had to estimate, how many times have you struck a bass drum over the last 10 years?
It's Sunday, man. You make me do math in front of people? That's brutal. I don't know a lot. Way too many. I honestly, I don't know how you guys feel, but I have no idea what to make of this moment, how to ingest it. I don't know what to do. 10 years. It doesn't seem real. A decade of this. It didn't exist before. Here we are all doing a thing. It's sports. Sports mean nothing. Sports mean everything. What are we even doing? I don't know what to do.
10 years of existential crisis with Das Harts.
Max, so many people are asking, when is Das Harts releasing the next bit of music? Come on.
Kevin, I don't want to... I'm afraid to admit how many partial tracks I have on my phone in GarageBand just waiting for me to scream bad lyrics into them at a random genre of my choosing for my own amusement. I don't know. That's the honest question. Maybe next week. I don't know.
So, in honor of 10 years of FC Cincinnati, over the course of 10 years, the Bailey has had some good moments. The Bailey has had some rough moments. We've sung through all of it. What is your favorite thing that the Bailey sings?
Ooh. I mean, I think it's still got to be the yellow card chant. Like the fact that one
for sure
is what stuck. I believe the original lyrics were, take a look, we use our foot. We're playing soccer. So the fact that became like one of the staples of to this day, that they're like literally the entire stadium chants is honestly pretty cool. So yeah, that's gonna be my answer.
When we were doing our initial we got to come up with some songs to sing because that's what we do. So we were at an impasse. I was like, all right, let's narrow things down. Let's go 80s power ballads or 90s TV show themes.
Listen to John Hart.
That's how we had that one. And then we landed on Read a Rainbow. and I just brought it up on YouTube, and we just played it until we had some kind of coherent lyrics, which still, I don't know that they fully are, but hey, it's a little chant that's good.
Like, I don't know that many people appreciate truly that how dumb most of FC Cincinnati fandom is, and how much of what goes on in this team and in this fan base originates from people that are either very drunk or like profoundly confused about what to do and just making it up. Garrett the Lion.
I mean, it was literally like 8 people in like my college house going like, a 5, 6, 7, 8 yellow card in this, and you're just like, what is this? Like, what am I doing with my life? But it was still the most fun thing that I did, those first few years out of college. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
So I asked Jeff Berding this question through mountains of static and feedback and everything else running through the wiring of this ancient building. When was the moment for each of you that you guys knew FC Cincinnati was going to make it?
At risk of being hackneyed, honestly, the first game, I'm sitting there in the family section. My son is in my wife's belly. I look over, people chanting FCC out of nowhere on a cold day against a team no one's ever heard of. Coley hits a scissor kick. The rest is history. Like, what can you go? It can't go wrong from there.
Yeah, I'll say for me, it was that first match too, because we had no idea how many were going to show up. In some of the pre-season meetings we'd had with Jeff in the front office, our estimation was like, I don't know, like 5,000 or 6,000, 10,000 maybe when Louisville comes to town. And then I have 14,000 that day in the freezing cold. Like you said, chance, Darren Russell trying to figure out what we're gonna do chant wise. We tossed out the things we'd come up with in a studio lit around the phone. It's Kendall Waston, y'all. He comes from Costa Rica, yeah. He's big and black. He'll shut down your attack.
And you won't give people more of this? Come on, you're being selfish.
Schwei, how about you?
More supporters, I'll be ready to go.
I mean, there were certainly benchmarks along the way through the USL years. Jeff mentioned the Crystal Palace game. I think a Louisville game, I remember almost selling out and then having their away section be almost sold out. I think it was the crying Jordan meme in infamy. But I think honestly the first time where I really was like legitimately awestruck was that first MLS match and looking behind me and seeing all those people come down. I forget what road that is, but that march legitimately took my breath away. And to this day is like such a seminal memory of this team. I think a lot of people point to that, and just the pictures that came out of that, just to see the city like really coming out in droves and running into random people that like I worked with that like I didn't even know like soccer, and like were dressed in like all FCC gear. It was like, oh, this isn't just a minor league team in town that's doing well. This is a major league team that's actually outperforming every single team in this.
Well, I remember we were in the march and you told me like to turn around, and I was like, I can't.
Yeah, like,
I physically couldn't turn around. There's so many people.
You actually did, like had a job.
If you would have turned around, you would have taken like 10 people with you with the bass drum. Like there would have been like that incredible photo of everyone marching to the stadium would have been marred by like 40 people broke a leg when like there was a human pile up.
Fair enough.
Like the Who Part 2 happening right there.
It's like in the Tour de France when one biker falls and everyone just cascades over them. That's Max with the bass drum.
I gotta say, for the three of you, and the four of you being a part of the Pride, I think one of the biggest, craziest things was how often the Pride changed its pregame location.
Oh my God.
It's a problem that has not been felt in some time. But man, take me back to a fond memory of, say, Top Cats, The Ladder, or...
I mean, I think we can go through the chronology. It was Adriatico's parking lot. It was then the Brass Tap. which I don't know how they passed fire code to get that
There's
bar
no
up.
chance.
It was literally just like a hallway.
Brass taps /
Yeah, we picked Brass Tap when we thought we were going to have 50 people.
Yeah.
And then we sold out of all 100 scarves that I fronted personally for the Pride like that day.
That was wild.
Yeah, I think for me, the truly magical moment of FC Cincinnati pre-gaming when it comes to the Pride lore was coming to Top Cats one morning. The bar smelled like, you know that smell at a college bar that smells like a combination of vomit, Clorox, and bad choices?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, the floor was still sticky. Like
always.
Like I think like the we'll say the feminine hygiene dispenser in the women's bathroom had been broken off the wall. And I'd invited my dad to the pregame. and you know, Chief Senior walks into this place and his foot is like making that like post-it note noise when it's like coming off the floor.
Right. Shocking it even stayed on.
Right. And I was like, this is what I do with my friends, man.
Not a joke. One time I was in the bathroom at Top Cats and the floor was so sticky my shoe came off. I stepped out of like a freaking mouse glue trap. That's how bad the floor was.
What's worse, the sticky floor or the permanently wet bathroom? It's always wet. There's a good quarter-inch of water at all times.
I don't know, man.
Was the first match the one where the Wiz showed up?
Oh, yeah.
And we were specifically assured that the Wiz would not show up.
It was the no, it wasn't the first MLS match. But well, I don't know. Whatever the first match we were at Top Cats, they blocked the entire room off to have a DJ from 101.1 The Wiz. Which, don't get me wrong, love the music, but made it a little difficult to enjoy the pregame festivities.
Yeah, it didn't really nail the demographic on that one.
Yeah. So then we did. 5 minutes. So it was. Did we ever do Cock and Bull, or was that just kind of like in the ladder 19?
We had conversations with Cock and Bull.
That is some
and
lore.
then the world shut down.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
probably for the best. Probably for the best.
I wish we could have gone to Cock and Bull, but instead we were sheltering in place. It's fun.
Cock and Bull, we had
flattening the curve.
Signed up, and I remember we made the announcement, and then there was supposed to be a TIFO painting party, and I remember being a part of like long discussions of like, do we actually hold this? Like, it was like, we're talking like March 8th, right? So we're like a day or two before the world is about ready to shut down. And we scrapped it. Everybody was mad. And then the season never happened.
Right after our accidental super spreader event, which was our scarf release, flags, we were ready to go, man.
Yeah. COVID was for sure in Molly Malone's that night.
Absolutely.
Like the OG strain.
Yeah. Tons of members on Discord were like, can't smell anything?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I can't move my body. Anyone else feeling this?
All right. So to sum it up for 10 years of the Pride, 10 years of FC Cincinnati, I'm going to go down the line. Each of you, what is your favorite memory of the last 10 years for FC Cincinnati?
Wow. I don't know if I can point to one, but I will say, truly, my favorite part of the early days was the rivalry with Louisville and going down for those away days and literally going into the baseball field, throwing streamers. I'm trying to think if I have a favorite of those memories. Maybe the plastic cup where I dislocated some guy's shoulder on total accident, and the whole team wanted to fight me.
Going to Guy Fieri's Smokehouse.
We went to Guy Fieri's Smokehouse and, asked them to take our burgers to Flavortown, dunk it in donkey sauce. I would say pick your poison from any of the Louisville match days. That was like peak Pride, FC Cincinnati lore in my head. Yeah.
How long you been driving for Uber, brah?
So many inside jokes to come out of that. When they got a semi-professional soccer team or soccer players to play in the plastic cup because we had like a 7-0 lead going into the away leg, and they literally brought in semi-professional players. They're absolutely like nutmegging us. I'm surprised I didn't tear my ACL doing that. Playing in that game. My God.
I remember the image is still floating around somewhere. Jono smoking a cigarette, running up to the camera of the live stream of the first leg.
Chris, what do you got?
it's a little hackney, but I'm going to say it's probably that first home match against Portland. It just felt like such a culmination of all of the years of work that we personally had put into for our little piece of all of this. Yeah, I mean, the years of kind of existential dread of, all right, well, if this thing fails, it's going to go away, and then what are we going to do? So it felt like once we had reached that point, we were kind of good. we had made it. Like I think I retired shortly after that, and yeah, I can now see this continue on and live on for many generations.
Max, Das Harks, your favorite moment?
I got to be that guy and start with like really thanking everyone that's been a part of it, because there's been so many times, I know we've said it before, but like so many times things died, they were in complete disarray, and we wouldn't have made it through without a lot of people's help. A lot of people that don't get to sit up here and pontificate and vamp in front of everybody. Like, there's a shit ton of work that went in to making everything what it is. And only a fraction of it is a result of the people sitting up here. You said this existential dread, like, my God, the number of times this all came so close to falling apart. I'm going to pick one random memory where I said, well, let's go for this. If I end up in jail, so what? It's got to be the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men at Louisville. Like, it wasn't going to work out. The game was canceled. It got rescheduled. I was able to make it. I put a bunch of stuff in a bass drum. It was way too heavy to carry.
Wasn't it on like a Tuesday?
I got help.
Wasn't it on like a Tuesday?
It was literally on a Tuesday. I got help from September 11th. So an ambiguously brown guy goes into a stadium, Kentucky, with a lawnmower battery and a power inverter inside of a musical instrument. And when the game starts, we set those things off. And as they went in the sky, I was like, yeah, man, we did it. This is it. And I was just going to wait, like, they're going to take me to jail. It's very illegal to do this. And I thought maybe they would last for like 5 minutes. They stayed up for like 40 minutes. And the puzzled look on their dumb faces, wondering how in the hell we got that in there. And then, of course, I don't know, I think it's like Marshall and some other people told them, like, oh, yeah, they gave us power. Pissed them off even more. Like, the nonsense of the USL days was really great. I enjoyed that a lot.
I was going to ask Jeff, but, professional audio setup. Like, he has to miss at some level those USL meetings where it was like, what did your supporters do this time?
Yeah. Can you imagine this guy? He's got $500 million in the air, and these jackasses, like, just doing illegal stuff for fun. Oops. Yeah, another smoke fine. Hey, you specifically told them not to do that anymore, right? Yeah, they did it anyway.
They snuck a what into where? God damn it.
Yeah. After listening to Jeff, though, you know he fucking loved that shit, dude.
Is the green one out there from the Louisville?
I think it might be, yeah.
That's incredible. So I feel confident in this, so I'm just going to say it. And if I'm wrong, somebody has to prove me wrong. The green, wacky, waving, inflatable tube man that is outside of Northern Row right now is one of the ones that went to Louisville.
Yeah, so Amazon, I ordered 3 because I'm paranoid, and I thought there's no way all of them are going to be right. I'm going to order 3 because I need 1. I'll take 2. Sure enough, one of them was green. That won't do. So I contacted Amazon. I was like, hey, wrong color. They're like, keep it. So we have a green one.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for getting us to this point. Enjoy today. Take it in. Soak it in. We are joined by a number of former players and also Jeff Smith. This is very exciting.
The legend.
Jeff, what position did you play?
Left out.
Can you hear me? There you go.
Yeah, I was left out. I played soccer till 8th grade, man. First grade, 8th grade.
That's
when it was pure.
You appear to be very tanned, rested, and ready. Can you tell the people where it is exactly that you have chosen to be that you look like a lobster right now?
Cincinnati, Ohio, okay? Cincinnati, Ohio.
Are you hitting them straight at least?
I wish. Never.
That's
Jimmy,
concerning.
Welcome. 10 years of FC Cincinnati. When you hear that, how old do you feel?
Too old. I mean, it's unbelievable. I saw some pictures today of my bleach blonde hair and my better skin back then, but it's good to be back, and 10 years is a long time, and we're certainly old now. Hopefully we look not too old on the field later tonight.
Now, when you hear that this team's been around for 10 years, I'm just going to go down the line here. Each of you, when was the moment that you realized that soccer in Cincinnati might have an actual chance of making it?
For me, I think we did a meet the team event at Rheingeist in preseason before we played any games. I think even before the Xavier game. And it was like, I don't know, a couple thousand people showed up. And that was the moment for me when I knew this was something different. And then I don't want to take all of them, but the Xavier friendly game as well. I mean, 5,000 people at a friendly game against a college team was pretty special. And then just continued to grow every single game after that.
I think the all shit moment was the second game after the home opener. We played Louisville City, and I think it was an orange out. And after the 14,000, we had 23,000 people come for that second match. Insane. And I think it was that moment that we realized this wasn't a fluke. This thing wasn't a one-off. We all know that there's some home openers that can get really big, and then the rest of the season falls flat. It was that game that I think we all knew we had something pretty special.
I'm taking the obvious one was the first game. It was super cold. Yeah. Everyone, when they were trying to get people to come out here, was talking about all the season ticket deposits and how great the support was going to be. But you kind of chalked it up to a little bit of salesmanship from Harks and Ryan Martin. And then you come out to the first game, it's super cold. There's 15,000.
Yeah.
I came from Ottawa. We got like 12 people. So my mind was blown. And then, to Jeff's point, it just continued. It was wild.
Yeah, first game definitely was, without a doubt, when it started to really sink in. I think everyone remembers the super kick. Walking around downtown after the super kick, and everybody talking about it.
Jesus.
It definitely sank in at that point.
So, when it comes to that first year, with specifically the crowds that the city turned out for the games, was there a little bit of an intimidation factor of just how many people were showing up to watch minor league soccer and like looking around being like, I don't know if this is normal right here. This is a little messed up right now.
I mean, I think obviously the support was crazy. It had like a weird effect though, in that every single game was like the opposing team's kind of Super Bowl, right? Like it was their big match because they were used to the Ottawas of the world, which I hope no one from there is listening to this, all 12 of them. But that they'd come in and they were just so amped up, right? That everyone came and was fighting like crazy. But it made it fun, right? Because it was every match actually mattered something, and then you had all the fan support. So it was incredible.
I think most people forgot that in 2016, the USL, the average attendance for a game was around 3,000 people. And we were averaging 17,000 people in our first year. And to Wiede's point, we became everybody's Super Bowl. It was unbelievable. It was a must-watch soccer.
And to that point, I mean, it's like we go from playing in front of 20,000 on a Saturday, maybe we go to Bethlehem on a Wednesday. There's legitimately like 200 people at the game. So, I mean, it was just a completely different dynamic. It was like nothing else in the league. I mean, we wanted to play the home games. That was the best possible thing, and it was just a really interesting kind of like experience.
We had this theory, too, that the officiating at Nippert Stadium was completely different.
Yes.
Just because you had not only, it wasn't just the players, it was officials who had never been in front of a crowd that was more than 500 people. And then all of a sudden they're getting booed by 15, 20,000 whenever their hand goes to the pocket for a card. I feel like it made the officiating and playing the games very difficult those first couple of years because you had no idea what any of these guys were going to do as soon as the crowd started getting on them about things.
We tag along right with you guys and boo them while we're playing.
For sure, though. I mean, similar to a lot of the players, it was their first time ever in front of that many fans. And with the energy in the stadium and the noise and the booing, and I mean, some guys, it can be a little too much for them sometimes, and they try to maybe call too many things or try to take control of the game. And I think we definitely experienced that a few times, and we're on the other side of it maybe too many times, in my opinion.
How hard was it to get up on away games? Like, at that point, it just feels like a training session, right, compared to a home match?
Man, you really find a lot out about yourself when you're playing on Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. in Harrisburg City Islanders, right? It's makes you dig deep, right? I got a soft spot for Harrisburg because that was the first year I wasn't playing great. I was kind of on my way out, and Antoine Hopino got the start over me when we played in Harrisburg, and I think it was like just before halftime he got really angry and he booted a ball over the left field fence, and then Harks was like, "Weeda, go warm up," and then I stayed in the lineup from there on out. So I'm talking a little bit of shit about Harrisburg, but it'll always have a soft spot in my heart. Thanks, Antoine.
Where was, for each of you, your favorite USL stadium to play in? So you say, I got Harrisburg City Islanders right there. Where was everybody's favorite USL away stadium to play in?
I was going to say, yeah, you can't pick Nipper.
You can't pick Nipper. No, you got to pick somebody else.
Favorite? Like a legit favorite.
Or your not legit favorite. However you want to interpret the question.
It was an easy one for me. It's the New York Red Bulls because I was there previously before Cincinnati. So it was a little bit nostalgic to go back and play in a real stadium. But, nothing really compared to Nipper for us.
It's easy. Louisville City. Do you guys remember that shithole? Where the infield met the outfield, the turf didn't match, the ball would bounce, the fans would throw bottle. Like
they had rusty stakes connecting the little turf that they overlaid on the infield.
That was minor league soccer at its best, but what a great rival to hate, and what a great series we had with those guys. A lot of fun.
I think it's Harrisburg for me. I mean, I played on loan in Harrisburg, so I also have a soft spot there when I was in Philly, but it's a city in the middle of Pennsylvania, and it's a stadium on a little island on the river. I mean, you can't make it up. It's honestly incredible.
No, it's great, too, because what I love about Harrisburg is that, we have a game in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh? No. Philly? No. Think smaller and a lot more centrally located.
Lancaster?
You will never once be tricked on the state capital test as to what the state capital of Pennsylvania is.
Absolutely not. I need to go back to fifth grade.
Not you especially.
I had that one, but yeah, everybody else.
Eric, what's the nicest strike you've hit, and is it the playoff goal against Charleston?
That was the moment of my life. No doubt about it. Best goal ever that I've ever scored.
I think that might be the nicest strike in the history of FC Cincinnati today.
That was I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I don't think that goal gets enough credit. Sadly, and I mean, nice for the team that lots of new fans have come on since joining MLS. But I think far too few people have seen the Eric Stevenson 2016 playoff goal. So please, YouTube that. You will be absolutely...
What a goal.
Yeah, you'll fall in love with it. I will say, though, from the Bailey, it might have been the best goal ever because we got to see the perfect curvature into that upper corner. Man.
It was one of those things when you hit it, you immediately you knew it was going in. You're like, you can't hit a ball better than that. That was something you dream of. I couldn't replicate that in practice 100 times over. So
when you hit a shot like that, is the first thought in your mind oh hell yeah?
Oh, legit. The energy boost that just comes upon you.
The ball is
celebrating before.
You're celebrating.
The ball is mid-flight. You're already planning on what I'm going to do for my celebration right here. You don't need to worry about it.
No idea. Just no idea what's going on. Just blackout afterwards.
Now, in terms of all-time celebrations,
there's only one.
This is a good.
There's only one.
Good topic.
One that got away.
There's only one.
He deserves his moment tonight, I think.
So, I said earlier before you guys got here, that we have a person now on the current roster, Kevin Dekel, who I think likes showing his abs off a little too much, if we're being honest. He looks like a space alien with the lack of any sort of non-musculature on him. But you were potentially the original FC Cincinnati thirst trap with the shirt coming off, with the tarps off. Oh my God! How often do you watch that replay in your own personal time?
He called you a thirst trap.
Yeah, I'll take that. Actually, I'll take that. I got a little I try to work out every once in a while. And I got a little home gym up in the garage, and so I have that just a poster on the wall to give me motivation to be like, man. Well, it's like motivation, but it's also just self-deprecation. It's like, you filthy piece of shit. What did you let happen here? So,
you had your shirt off for so long. I've never seen someone with their shirt off for that long.
You were asking about the refereeing at Nippert. The refereeing was bad, specifically the video assistant refereeing or lack thereof. You ever have these moments in life where you're like, what if? How would the trajectory of my life change if just one thing had been different?
Onsides. You were onside.
They had VAR, of course.
You were onside.
Hey, you know, thank you. Yeah. You know, I'm having a great time sitting here with you guys. Had that not been called offsides, maybe I'm getting ready for a game right now.
Yeah, you're not,
the 6 p.m. game. The 6 p.m. game.
You're not here. You're doing you're either on the field or doing the pregame broadcast for MLS or something like that.
Did I get faster in this alternate universe as well? So, yeah. That would have helped.
So what I love. Hang on. I have an alternate theory about this moment.
Oh, I love it.
I think it plays out perfectly if they call you offside, but all Mitch had to do was let the last one in. You were the next
That's also
taker.
True.
You would have buried the game-winning penalty kick. That might be cooler. That might be cooler.
Deprived twice.
Would you have taken the shirt off again? if you had the fifth pen, and you
yeah, 1,000%. I got a TiVoed clip of Scott Van Pelt saying, "Wow, he looks like he's pretty fit." So.
Because you did leave the shirt off a really long time. If you
I didn't know.
If you watch back the clip, you're running to get your yellow card with the shirt off. I've never seen that happen ever before.
So you know what? I give Jimmy a lot of shit, right? And we always poking fun at each other and whatnot. The nicest thing he's ever done for me was he knew I was offsides. And he just let me go and have my moment, right? Because he's like, I don't want to break this guy's heart. So he let me celebrate it. Let me get the picture.
What a guy.
I couldn't do it. I wasn't going to be the one to tell him. I couldn't. And he made the most of the moment. All 2 minutes of it before he got the yellow card.
Well, dude, I used to have you put baby oil on me before every game. And I was like, this is the one. This is the one. You do it enough times.
Thirst trap. Thirst trap.
Got to get you oiled up before PKs. You got to be looking all shiny and reflecting the light off the stadium lights in order to distract the keeper.
Do you guys at all miss the days of living in quasi-dorm living and being that close with your brothers in arms, or are you happy to see it in the past?
Oh no, bring me back. I mean, in that one apartment complex, I mean, we probably had
Oakley Station life, baby.
Half the 12 apartments in the one building. I mean, it was ridiculous.
So where was the favorite hangout in Oakley? As an Oakley resident, I gotta know.
I'll tell you. Oak Tavern. Yeah. Big Oak Tavern fan. Fantastic wings.
Fantastic wings.
Yep. It's always nice coming back because you can go and you get a few beers and you're like, oh, it's like $7. It's fantastic.
So in those first couple of years with the team around town, what was it like all of a sudden seeing people making shirts with your name on it right there, your name on it right there? What was that like, getting personalized merch made and seeing people around town wearing your name on T-shirts?
I think that was one of the biggest moments in terms of what was surreal. Most MLS teams at that moment, you wouldn't even see jerseys around a city, or let alone the personalized shirts. And I think we were at Neons or something after a game one time, and I saw the Pat McMahon, the man bun Cincy shirts, and that's the first time I was like, what's going on? The Pat McMahon man bun shirt, an all-time favorite, but no, it was nothing else. I mean, there's nowhere else in the USL was anything like that happening.
So for the guy that was in charge of selling
we gotta get the money guy on right here.
And filling the stadium, to have T-shirts of these guys and posters of these guys and thirst traps. Again, it was a beautiful thing. As we remember, this was semi-pro soccer, so unbelievable stuff.
It was fully pro soccer.
Let's be honest, it was.
I think every time the paycheck came, I think a lot of people were like, I don't know about this one right here. So, looking back on it, 10 years, we're here for the anniversary. What do you think it says about this city, this club, the moments that were created that so many players have either decided to stick around the club or come back for events like this? Because I don't think this is normal around Major League Soccer or even soccer in general in America, where there is this kind of connection still to the early days and the memories of a club like this.
I think it just shows how unbelievable this organization's been run and how close everybody is as family. You know, it's you leave and you come back and it's like you haven't missed a beat. It's inspiring. It's been incredible to see the journey of the club, to see them come this far and winning the Supporters Shield and just following along as a fan now. Unbelievable.
I mean, the city's obviously incredible. Someone was talking about how, you know, it's tough to get people to come here, but then once you do, it's tough to get them to leave, right? And I think everyone that's been here probably shares that sentiment. You guys call me a thirst trap a few more times, I might not leave early because I'm feeling the love. But like we were talking about it earlier, like Cincinnati wasn't on the roadmap for Major League Soccer, right? They weren't like, oh shit, we need to have a second team in Ohio, right? Yeah. But then you had all of the support from obviously all of the fans showing up week in and week out, right? And that was tremendous to where they couldn't turn a blind eye to it, right? To how do you shut down a sure thing, right? And that's what Cincinnati was after those first couple of years. And that's pretty incredible and a testament to obviously all of the fans.
You got to remember too, Brew, that when you move to Cincinnati, you probably go buy a Reds hat, maybe a Bengals jersey, and you inherit the teams that were here. When you look out here, these are all the people that helped build this club. So there's an ownership level to it, right? And the club was started in bars and pubs like this. So it's a powerful thing that people feel so connected because of that. This is their club.
Absolutely. I mean, without the fan support, this club doesn't exist. And I think the connection was so strong because we were all going through this together. I mean, no one could have predicted what this turned into. And every single week, it just kept getting better and better. And then we went on the Open Cup run, and it was just so cool going through it with everybody in the stadium, in the city. And we were just, you know, so grateful as players to be a little piece of what something truly special is.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for getting us to this point. Thank you so much for all the memories, legends, the joy that you brought. Jimmy McLaughlin, Jeff Smith, Andrew Wiedeman, Eric Stevenson. Give it up for them, folks.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is truly an honor right here to be joined by some absolute FC Cincinnati royalty right here. And what I love about the group on stage right now is that we have two former captains of FC Cincinnati right here. We are joined on stage by four legends of the team. We have Richie Ryan, Garrett Halfhill, Dekel Keinan, and Kendall Waston right here. And I told Kendall, we got one of the original banners out of storage just for him right here. Kendall, I gotta ask, do you remember slapping Leo Bertoni like that? And what was going through your mind when that happened?
I was so happy to slap him.
Welcome back to all of you. Thank you all for being here so much. We couldn't be more thrilled that you guys are here, that you've taken time out to be here. FC Cincinnati's 10th anniversary. For each of you, you played an important role on this team, bringing it here to this day. I'll start with you, Kendall. What was it when you came to Cincinnati that made you want to come to this city? And what is it that you remember from being here in Cincinnati?
First of all, what I remember is the warm welcome from all the people from Cincinnati and the atmosphere that what we feel during the games was amazing from day one. So I think that until today, this moment, it has been increasing. And what I love was the team, what they want to build, and the view for the future. Right now, to see everything what they was talking in those days has been come true.
So incredible. And Dekel, for you as well, you were a captain like Kendall was on this team. What was it that drew you to FC Cincinnati, and what was it that you saw when you were here that might have led you to believe that this moment like this was possible right here?
I mean, first of all, after the first game, I was amazed by the amazing fans and the support that we had, and the communities that we were very involved with the community, and I think it was very, very special. And the group of the guys that we had, hard worker, humble group of guys, we were able to create something very special. I may only play one season for this club, but this is feel like home for me. So I'm very glad to be back. It looks like you guys created unbelievable culture, and I'm glad to be even a small part of it.
Same question going down the line. What was it when you joined FC Cincinnati? What was it that you saw in this city that made you think that soccer could eventually reach this point right here?
Yeah, so I mean,
like, you played college soccer here, so like you saw this firsthand. That's right. But even like playing at Xavier when you did, no pro soccer here. What do you think about this city that led to this point? What was it that made you think this was possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think this has always been a little hot spot, a little hot pocket for soccer in general. There's always been a lot of talent here. And, just playing with guys in college that were traveling and going to Columbus Crew, rather than there being a club here that they could call their own, it's just really cool to see how this has exploded. I'm not surprised that it did explode, but this is like beyond what any of us could have ever imagined. So yeah, I mean, it was just, for me, this has always been a second home for me. I went to college here. I've got family roots here. I always wanted to be a part of this club, and so I am beyond honored to have put this jersey on. Yeah.
Now, Richie, when you started your career,
is your mic off?
No. Oh. Richie, when you started your career, you started actually in the Premier League, playing in Sunderland. So you come to Cincinnati, obviously a far cry from the EPL, but what is it that you saw in this city that might have led you to believe that this was potentially the future that you would see for this club in Major League Soccer with the kind of support this club has enjoyed?
It's funny you say about Sunderland, because I think Cincinnati as a city has a lot of resemblance to Sunderland, because of the people, hardworking people, passionate people. I was at Miami FC 2017 when Cincinnati had the cup run, and they brought 200 fans down to Miami. And then I knew some of the players. I knew Wiedeman, Jimmy. So when I got the chance to come here and play in front of 25,000 fans for all of us players that played in the USL, it was a no-brainer. And to see what it's become today, I'm fortunate enough that I've moved back here with my family and work with the academy now. So to see what the club has become now is, like Dekel said, I think it's beyond anybody's expectations to see what it's become now.
Yeah, Richie, take us into that 2018 team, because as you mentioned, you were on the Miami team. The NASL sort of collapses around this time, right before the season, and what FC Cincinnati kind of became was an NASL all-star team. Is that how you guys saw yourselves in the locker room that year, or what was it like putting together that team?
I obviously seen the players that came in, and along with the fans, the players that I was going to play with every week was the biggest reason I came. Somebody just asked us to sign a poster down there, and I said to Dekel, I said, fucking hell. We had a good squad. We had a good squad of players, top players for the USL level, NASL level. I know some of the boys went on to play in the MLS. We were very fortunate to have what we had in 2018.
Yeah. And then, Garrett, for you, we got to know, Chief brought it up, you played college ball at Xavier. Do I have it correct? You were teammates with one Nick Hagland. Is this correct?
Yeah, I came in and actually did my official visit and stayed in his dorm room. So, I've been really good buddies with him for a long time. I still work his summer defenders camp with him.
very, very close. Just great guy, man.
Yeah. Any good memories maybe on the road with Nick or anything like that?
that you can share.
That you can share. Understanding there are children in the audience.
Yeah. Well, I do. I remember going to a spring soccer game with Nick, and we had classes that we had to stay back for. So he and I road tripped, without the bus in his Kia Soul. And so I'm sitting in this tiny car with Nick, and we're pulling out of, Bloomington, Indiana, and he's driving down the highway, and these cars are like blaring their horns at us, and we're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. We're like 30 minutes into this trip, it's pitch black, and we figure out Nick doesn't have his headlights on. So.
Oh man, the future of FC Cincinnati could have been very different.
That's kind of been the story of Nick Haglin's career. The headlights haven't been on sometimes, So, with that 2018 year, you guys win the USL version of the Supporters Shield. Awesome memory, awesome time. When was it that you guys realized you were pretty damn good and that was going to be a good year?
For me, it was after the first practice. I was very impressed. It was my first season in the state in America, and I was surprised by the level. I was surprised by we didn't have a great facility back then, but the level of the players, I was very surprised what they showed in the practice, and that's a good opportunity for us to give a good shout out to everyone that's still wearing the USL badge on the jersey. Well done, you guys.
Now, Dekel specifically, you delivered some of the hardest hits I have ever seen on a soccer field. Were you aware that you had a reputation in this town as the one guy not to mess with on this team?
I'm not fully aware, but once in a while I get a message on my social media and they reminding me, and I truly appreciate that. And when do you play in front of more than 20,000 fans? For me, it's unacceptable not to give everything you got. And sometimes during the game, you gotta head a hit, and you gotta stand up and keep playing. That's part of the game. But again, I'm very, very pleased to be a small part of this club.
Now, Kendall, I don't want to leave you out here. I have a question for you that I've been dying to ask since we found out you were going to be here.
Yeah.
Are you as shocked as everyone else is that Kai Kamara is still playing soccer in Major League Soccer?
I think he's going to continue playing until 50s.
Now, you guys played together when you were on the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Yeah.
Did he ever tell you that I have no plans post-soccer? I'm just going to keep playing until my legs fall off.
Even yesterday, I saw him and he told me, well, I'm not planning to stop. I said, what? So who knows when he's going to retire?
Were you as disappointed as we were when the team drafted him in the expansion draft and only kept him for 15 minutes as opposed to keeping him on this team?
Yeah, that was one of the arguments that we was talking with Jeff, because he was happy and the happiness go right away.
Well, if I remember correctly, the logistics of the trade essentially had us trade Kai for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he said it was a fair trade.
So I have good friends. I have to note also for the crowd here, for people that don't know, Kendall, you are still playing down in Costa Rica for Saprissa.
Yeah.
And you received special permission to be here in Cincinnati for today's game.
Correct.
What did that conversation look like when you told your manager, I've got to come up to Cincinnati and hang out with a bunch of drunks in a bar?
Well, he doesn't know the drunks in the bar.
Yeah, you don't tell him everything.
Yes. He only going to see in the stadium.
Yeah.
But no, he knows that this is a very special moment for me. And I beg him that please let me go, because this is a one chance moment. So I'm really honored and pleased to be how that big captain says a small part of this organization.
So you say that, you and Dekel right here. What does it mean to be captain of a team? So for your sake, in your situation, captain of a brand new MLS squad. For Dekel, for your situation, captain of a Supporters Shield USL winning squad. What responsibility do you take and what honor do you take in being the captain of the team?
I mean, for me, it's very simple. As a captain, first of all, you need to lead by example, on and off the field. And it's not about me, it's about the team. And I was just a small part, but everything I did, it's led by example, nothing else. I didn't expect anyone else to do what I couldn't do.
Yeah, I think the same way, because it's easy when everything comes good. And in our first year, it was really hard. So, like, you can lead by in a bad example, just complaining about everything, pointing fingers. But in that moment is where you have to bring your character and try to see how we can build something better during the bad moments, you know? So we was trying to bring all the guys together, a lot of players from different parts that maybe at the beginning wasn't feeling the same thing about Cincinnati, how you must feel it. So after several games, we come together, but I think the most important thing is that lead by example and not by talk.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. Apparently, we've only got a couple more minutes here, so I would like to run down the line to ask favorite memories of FC Cincinnati. However, I'll ask the three of you your favorite memories of your time playing in FC Cincinnati. For Kendall, though, I would love your favorite memory from the MLS's back tournament, the bubble in Orlando.
The bubble was a nightmare. Oh man, I think my favorite moment was when I asked on Uber Eats meat to the hotel and I cooked it myself because the hotel food was a disaster.
Wow. Wait, how did you cook it? How did you cook the meat?
I buy a little electric grill, so I almost bring out all the alarms.
I love the ingenuity is why you were captain. That makes sense.
Exactly right.
I bring in all the kitmens and all the guys from the physios department. Everybody was eating, so I wasn't the only one.
You always got to have some other people there so that they can't punish everyone.
Dekel, you were here for some amazing times for FC Cincinnati. What was a favorite memory or moment?
I have so many good memories, but I remember our first league game. We went to play away at Charleston. And we beat them 1-0. It was a tough game, and a typical USL game, not beautiful, but somehow we won, 1-0. And after the game, all of us together went, had a few drinks together at Charleston. It was, if I'm not forget, it was St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day. All of us, we had a great win. We drink together, and this has created a great culture for the team. So we won, kept clean sheet, drink together, and we kept on going winning.
Love it.
Garrett?
Yeah, the Open Cup for me, just every little bit of that year was incredible. The Red Bull game in particular really sticks out to me. I just remember being, over on the sideline and watching Jimmy get the ball and hearing the crowd roar and being like, "Wow, this is special." And I think at the time, Bastian Schweinsteiger had just came over. And I was thinking, man, we'll see how the crowd, everyone's going to be loving Bastian. And to watch the crowd boo Bastian Schweinsteiger, I was like, this is legit, man. This is awesome.
Oh, it is one of my proudest memories as a fan of any sport, that he was one of the only people to score on Mitch Hildebrand. And after he scored his PK, he shushed a crowd of USL supporters. Like, this man's played in the World Cup, and he's telling me to pipe down. Like, no, sir, I will not. Richie, your favorite moment of your time with FC Cincinnati?
Similar to Dekel, we played a away game to Indy 11, and I think we had 1,200 fans there. I think we won the game 2-1. 2-1, I think. Scrap. Shit game again. But we won 2-1. And just to have 1,200 of our fans 2.5 hours down the road, I think it speaks volumes to who these people are. And obviously winning games at Nippert was a special feeling every week for us as players. To do that in front of fans like this was a special time in all our careers.
Well, thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to everyone but Kendall in the game. Kendall, he's got to rest up. He's still making money. So for the rest of you, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for your contributions to FC Cincinnati over the years.
Yes.
And enjoy the rest of your weekend here in Cincinnati. Thank you for joining us right here.
Give it up. Amazing stuff. Now, I've got one quick announcement for y'all. We are going to try to get everybody outside for a nice big photo with everyone. And from that photo, we will then lead the march, go down into Washington Park and into TQL Stadium. So go on out there, be a part of a massive photo celebrating the 10 years of this club, and we'll see you guys out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for putting up with our audio, and here's to another 10 years for everyone. Thank you very much.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They're a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.